So today is May the 4th, and as my husband likes to say, it is Star Wars Day. So today I will be drawing BB8 for you. Now, quite a lot of the kiddos in my art class like to draw BB8 when they have a little bit of free drawing time, so I thought this might be something that you would like to have a go at. Now, we have a super straightforward shape. It's just a nice circle for the body, and then a kind of semicircle resting on the top. So nothing too complicated over here, and we have several little circles sitting inside. We have one large one in the front of his face, a slightly smaller one lower down, and then about 3 larger circles on his body. Now those are all sort of bit chopped off at the side depending on which angle you're viewing it at. I have one of them that is a full circle, and then the others which are just edging in from the side of the main sphere of his body. Now, as you can see, I am adding a whole bunch of little lines and patterns and screws. Now, this took a little bit of time. It took me about half an hour in all to do all of this. I thought that would be a bit long for you guys to sit and watch the whole thing. You can find a picture of BB8 to copy online. I'm sure there are hundreds of them. Or you can just follow along with these little steps. You don't need to worry too much about getting every little detail on there. I think as long as you have the main sphere, semicircle of the body, and then the circles which sit inside, and even some of the details, this is going to look just like BB8. Don't forget to just add some little lines around things, little extra lines to give some extra detail there. Now, once I did this in pencil, I went over this with a couple of fine liner marker pens. These are permanent marker pens, so they won't dissolve when I add the watercolors later. I'm just adding a little bit of texture everywhere that the lines are. I'm just going around, roughing up some of the edges, making some of them a little bit darker, adding a little bit of cross-hatching or some little lines here and there, just to make him look like a really rugged droid who has been through some tough times in outer space. So just take your black marker pen. It could just be a little biro even. Black biro would work fine. And just go ahead, go over all of your pencil and just add some little areas of detail. Like I said, you don't have to get everything on the paper that I'm getting on there, but just some little areas here and there with detail will probably be enough. So I'm just shading in a couple of patches which I think will look like they're sort of a bit dirty and grubby. He's not a brand new shiny droid anymore, so he's got to look a little bit weather worn and battered. And once I've got all of that black detail in, I'm going to start adding some colour. So I'm actually using some watercolour pencils for this. They are Caran d'Ache watercolour pencils, but any watercolour pencils will do. Or if you have watercolour crayons, you could use those, or even just a water-soluble marker. You could just use marker pen and then add some water to it later, as long as it's not a permanent marker. Or even just if you have watercolour paints, you could use all of those. Now, the reason that I'm using watercolour materials is that they will be transparent when I add the water to them. So we'll still see all of the black details that I've done with the black pen already. Otherwise, if I'm using something opaque like acrylic, then we're going to completely cover all of the lines we've already done. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to blend out slightly and kind of smudge those colors which I've already added. I didn't fill up the whole of the droid because obviously he's mostly white, so it's really just little dirty patches. And I'm flicking out all of the paint and even blowing some of the very watery paint in one direction only, so that my droid looks like he's kind of spinning around, and so there is some movement to the paper. When I have a really wet loaded brush, I'm also flicking it over the page just to give a little bit of extra interest over there. You don't have to do this, but I think it's a nice touch to just give a sense that this droid is actually moving around somewhere. So I hope you like it, and I hope you'll give it a go. I would love to see what you come up with. And here is the finished result. If you like this tutorial, you can check out all of my other videos on YouTube. I also have a Baby Yoda quick draw, as well as many others. You can also find me at carlyart.org, where I have an online art school, and carlyart on Facebook. So, as always, I love to see your work, guys. If you take part in my tutorials, do send me what you're making. So here are just a few samples of some of the work I've been receiving. Here are some food coloring color wheels from Uros, Dushan, and from Alice. And here we have a super cool drippy rainbow from Jack. And he's also tried out the leftover paint challenge. Root has been doing some lovely bacteria in a petri dish here. And these are all pebble painted fish from Sophia. Narikan has also tried the drippy rainbow. And Dominic has done the draw a spring flower. He's been writing his name in funky letters. I just love the volcano in the middle. And he's also tried drawing the strawberry. Julian has attempted the Spinosaurus, and just look at the texture of that skin. Matteo has drawn the test tubes, and he's also done the toucan. Keep them coming, guys.